guys? It's Tim with Gutter Growth. I got Tanner Mullen with DripJobs. What's going on, Tanner? How you doing today?
What's up, my man? Doing great, man. Blessed and highly favored.
Hell yeah, man. I like that response.
Yeah,
It's a good
man.
response. So, man, it's been a little bit since we talked, but tell me a little bit about DripJobs. I know that you do
Yeah,
a lot of
man.
CMR
Yeah.
stuff for people.
Yeah, dude. This idea started 4 years ago. And it started because I'm a painting contractor, house painting contractor. I'm out of Ocala, Florida. And I come from a sales background. So I sold cars, life insurance. I was in banking. So even in banking, I did some sales. So when I got into the industry of house painting, what I felt was missing was really just like a standard way to handle incoming leads and opportunities and shift them through a pipeline, right? So in the car dealership, somebody would walk up to a dealership, bro. That's a lead. You take that lead and you need to nurture that lead, man. They might come to a test drive, they might, tell you they're not ready yet, or they're just like window shopping, and it's like, bro, that's my money walking away, right? And I need
Yeah.
to get that money back into the dealership, right? So it was standard for me to sit in front of my computer and organize people. Like this person came in, put a note, boom, you know, call them, hey, when can we get you back in? Schedule that. Like, so in the house painting industry, man, naturally I was looking for this. Like, and then I got introduced. I don't know if you've ever heard of this company, Home Advisor. You ever
Oh
run?
yeah. I was with them when they were Service Magic. Did you ever hear that?
Of course, man. Of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah, that was
Yeah. So
Service
you
Magic.
so you're an
Yeah.
OG. So
Yeah.
so you know this more than anyone, how frustrating it is when someone gets sent to you and you see that 60, $70 credit charge and they don't answer the phone.
Very
Like
frustrating.
very frustrating. I'm just starting my painting business. I don't have money. I'm just like, I went all in and I'm like, dude, like the idea is great. I don't have to go knock doors like I did in life insurance, and I don't have to sift through service department customers and try to get people into the dealership. Like these people want my service and they're calling me, or I'm getting connected by Home Advisor, and they're not converting to anything. They're not even answering. And this frustration was getting to me because it was like a necessary evil, right? Like I want the leads. Like I know that they're humans. I have an address. I could go knock on the door. I'm not going to do that.
Taking 10 leads to sell two, though.
Right. Like 10 leads to sell two. And I'm like, dude, there has to be a way. Like, so what I would do is I went into my notes in my phone and I would create a message and I copy and pasted it to the customer after I would get the lead. I'd call them and they didn't answer. And then I'd text them and say, hey, this is Tanner with Premium Painting. Just following up. Did you want a painting estimate? No answer. And then I would send an email, no answer. And then like the next day, I'd be like, I still have that lead from yesterday. Call them, no answer. And then I would send an email again. And guess what? They would respond, yes, sorry, was a little busy. I would love an estimate.
Because they were getting pounded by everybody else at the
They were
time.
getting slammed and
Yeah.
they knew what was coming, and they're like probably overwhelmed. They got, and I might have took too long to get that initial text message out because I was painting, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, guess the next thing you know, Tim, another lead comes in and I got to restart that person's cycle, right? This is their first day. So then I got to do the same thing. I got to copy and paste the text message. Next thing you know, like I'm just completely, after like 5 or 6 leads, I'm completely disorganized. I don't know who has gotten their first message. So I had different templates in my notes app. It was like day one, day two, day three, and I forgot who needed day three, and it was just a mess,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so what I did was is I just did some research and I found that I could send that lead information to a software, and I can grab the email from it through a webhook, and I use Zapier and I would send it to Active Campaign, and then I built a sequence, a drip sequence that went
Mhm.
out to whoever got that email. And that's what happened is I sent it. So as soon as that lead came in, boom, the automation took place, dude. And this was my first like automation home
Is that where the
service
name came
experience.
from? Drips?
Drips, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the foundation of our app is the automated communication, right? So I would get the lead. Next thing you know, they'd come in and within seconds I triggered a message and it was an email, introduced who I was. It was our company, it had our logo at the top, and I was getting responses on it. And I'm like, this is crazy. So I'm like, wait a minute. Instead of me going back and forth trying to get their phone number or arrange a time for the estimate, what if I put a link in that drip message that had a booking link like Calendly, like you
Oh,
can book me. So I'm like, wait a minute, let me
yeah.
try it. So what did I do? I signed up for one of those programs and popped my booking link in there. Next thing you know, I'm getting a lead and they're getting the email and they're booking the appointment without me having to do anything. Brother, I felt like I had discovered fire. So that's the birth of this thing, dude, was just honestly like losing money, being frustrated about like the fact that people weren't answering me and like understanding that, like, first of all, they're getting bombarded with calls. They don't know who I am from Adam. And I needed to be a little more persistent to stand out. And that worked. And
Right.
that was the birth of this entire adventure.
That's a cool story.
Yeah, bro. It was straight out of just necessity.
That's awesome, man. So how's the system working? I heard that you have people actually switching from Jobber.
Dude, I mean, it's been insane. And really what I've learned is that like this process is like a lot of people deal with this issue, man. It's not just for new leads. And that was the crazy epiphany. So what I did was I had some friends in the community. I was putting my name out there. I was trying to teach people how to sell paint jobs and I was sharing all the information. Naturally, I love sharing information and teaching people what I learned, similar to you, obviously, gutter growth. So
Yeah.
like this was natural to me and I was on Instagram and people were like, yeah, I have that problem too. And another person's like, dude, how are you doing this? Like, I was like, oh my God, this person replied to my automation. And like, dude, people were just messaging me like crazy. And I was like, wait, there's an opportunity here. Let me build this out for you. So what did I do? I would connect their Angie account with the email autoresponder. I would build their emails for them and they would pay me to do that. And I'm like, man, people love this. So as I was doing this, what would happen was they'd be like, well, how can I connect this to Joist or Jobber or whatever I was using? Because now that they booked the appointment, I still have to put them into another software. And then I'm like, okay, well, I became this automation guy. I was connecting everyone's apps to one another. I had 50 companies that I was doing this for at one point.
Wow.
This podcast is sponsored by One Gutter Guard, the premium gutter guard that delivers the highest performance, quality, and value to your customers. From its different mesh filters to its unibody construction, One Gutter Guard can be the difference maker in your business. Are you interested in becoming part of the exclusive dealer network? Contact them today at onegutterguard.com or just give them a call. Now back to our show.
I was loving it, dude. It was awesome. I was like, this is awesome. Like, I'm just, helping everybody. Like, but it was getting convoluted. I had to store passwords, and I'm like, you know what? COVID
Wasn't
happened.
really scalable.
It was not scalable at all. This was messy. It was like, and I was outsourcing things to people in India, and they were getting it wrong, and it was a mess. So anyway, um, COVID happened and I drilled down and I really wanted to solve the problem of getting something that connected better to my email app. That was the first problem. And I found this company that had a similar proposal building app that I was wondering if I could white label it, which means they give me the app and
Yep.
I put my logo on it and that was it. And this was before Go High Level. So,
Yeah.
which is like the white label mecca. Um,
Yeah.
if Go High Level was available back then, I don't think I would have started Drip Jobs because I probably would have just used that. But it wasn't.
Yeah.
So I had to go custom. So I reached out to this company. I'm like, hey, can I white label your software? And they go, your request is so out of the box that we would like to just make you a custom solution. So then, dude, I was like, okay, you gave me the green light. I stayed up until 4 in the morning and built a 50-page document of everything I wanted in this thing, dude. It was flowing,
Wow.
man. I don't know if I'm sure it was like similar to you, man. Like when you're like, man, this gutter growth thing, like, dude,
Yep.
it just came out of me, man. And I sent it,
Just writing
and
your vision down.
bro, then they sent me like the biggest invoice I'd ever seen in my life. And and then I had a conversation with my wife. I'm like, I know for a fact if this comes to life, it will work. And
Yep.
gave up, most of my savings. And that was the first version of Drip Jobs. But
That's
like you said,
awesome.
yeah, man, like you said, like people are jumping from Jobber. And I think what we nailed is the communication aspect because it's
Mhm.
all based on where that customer is in the buying process, right? So we talked about Home Advisor leads or Service Magic or Angie lead.
Yeah.
It'll probably be something new next year, but like, when that lead enters into your world, like that lead needs to have a status. And in the case of Drip Jobs, that's a cold lead. That's someone that has
Right.
not been contacted yet, right? So in Drip Jobs, you can build a sequence one time. You don't even have to build it. It's done for you when you sign up, but you have a sequence that gets built, Tim. And what happens is that sequence is designed to do exactly what we discussed. Follow up with them frequently and quickly within seconds, and then drip out every day through text and email, encouraging them to move forward with a link to book. Because again, if you make it easy to book, they're going to book. If you make it hard, they're
Right.
not going to book, right? But that's one type of customer. But what about those customers that we send proposals to? They need a different type of follow-up, right? So think about anyone listening to this, the last time you went
So
to go.
it's tailored to like you're probably more aggressive if you're trying to get the lead. So you're like every day, what's the difference? Like what do you do on if it's not a job yet or not a proposal yet versus a proposal?
Yeah, so this is great, man. There's 7 stages that we've identified in the sales cycle, and this is
7.
7. And if you narrow it down, I'm going to list all 7. And as a gutter professional, the beauty, and we were just talking about this, the beauty of it is we have the same sales cycle. That's why I feel
Yeah.
qualified to
It's
come
almost
to
like
you.
any contractor's got this
Any
cycle.
kind, it's the same one. The first one is cold leads. That's when people come in, like from the ether, Facebook leads, Angie leads. If you have a Google ad going out and they get sent to a landing page, this person's cold, which means they haven't committed to an appointment yet. They're cold. The next one is warm. Okay, so you have a warm lead. This is someone that you've had some sort of interaction with. Now, that could be the lead comes in from Angie and they go, Tim, I'm not ready for an estimate yet. I haven't even bought the house yet. Okay.
Yeah.
So that type of lead is going to be someone that, needs time before they can commit to the appointment. But that doesn't mean we're going to write them off. Like, and hopefully someone's thinking about this, thinking like, what did I
Probably
do?
so many people are writing those people off.
Gone, gone. But with drip jobs,
They
we
don't
just
even think about it again. They get off the phone.
it's crazy. We move them to warm leads, and drip jobs just nurtures them a long-term sequence automatically. And then next thing you know, you just get an appointment out of nowhere, and you're like, where the heck did that come from? And it was someone you spoke to 6 months ago. It's like that's
Yeah.
money, right? Then
Yeah.
and all of it's automated. And then the next one you have is estimate requested, right? So that's someone that goes to your website, submits the form, commits to the estimate, right? Same thing with a cold lead. So if you get a cold lead and they book an estimate, they're committed. So that's estimate requested. And the way we built it is you have to approve that request. And the reason we did that is because you never know what comes in through that form. You don't want someone taking up a spot on your calendar. You just want to be able to approve it. Once it's
Right.
approved, that then we go to estimate scheduled, right? So that's the 4th stage. After you go to an estimate, you schedule that estimate, you work up a proposal. So in between the time you send the proposal and you're working on the proposal, we have the in draft stage. Now, some of you guys are doing big jobs. Sometimes it takes time to figure out material cost. It takes time to, obviously it could be days in between the time you go to someone's house and you deliver the estimate. Now, the
Right.
thing about that is that's not good sales because most people don't know what you're doing, right? Does that make sense? Like, in other words, like if
Yeah.
I come to your house, Tim, and I tell you I'm going to give you an estimate, if 2 days go by, they might not know that I'm sourcing material information. I'm trying to work it out. What they're thinking is they don't want the job. It's questionable whether or not you're going to send the estimate, which makes me doubt you. And I don't want that.
Right.
So in that in draft stage, we're sending out communication, letting them know that we're working on the proposal. Does that make sense?
That's pretty cool. No, that's really cool. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, that's an important stage. And what we did was we just thought about all the different elements of that buying process. And then next is the big one. That's when we send a proposal. So after we send the proposal, another sequence triggers of, hey, thank you so much for the opportunity. And then every few days, we're asking if they're ready to move forward. We're sending reviews. We're sending
So
links.
they've probably never had a communication response
Never,
like this before. Like no company's given them this
never.
type of communication.
And it's all automated. And what's beautiful is our spam rate is extremely low. And I'll tell you why. Even though it's automated communication, it is so out of the box for first, a contractor to do any sort of communication like this. And two, all the communication relates to exactly where the customer is in the buying process. Example,
So
someone
it's
who got a,
relevant.
what's that?
It's relevant.
It's relevant communication, which we all appreciate. You get pitched all the time. Like, at the end of the day, you're going to be more excited to talk with someone who actually went to the Gutter Growth website and actually like learned about your mission and said, hey, man, I really resonated with your mission rather than, hey, do you want to do business with us?
I,
Like,
I
and
I
that,
like it when they've watched a bunch of my podcasts and actually know me. That's when I like talking to them
sure,
versus just cold.
they follow you on Facebook or they reference a story that you put out, like, or
Yeah.
something like, and that they're pitching, but it's like, you know what? You took the extra effort. Like,
Right.
like, thank you. Like I get what you're trying to do, but like you're kind of qualified to communicate with me this way because it's relevant, right? So
Yeah.
it's the same principle when it comes to automated communication. And you get some people that unsubscribe from the follow-ups, but what you find is that you get people that reply to them. And that's crazy because months in advance after we send a proposal, we're getting people that are replying. Like we have a follow-up that goes out 3 months later that says, "Hey, it's been 3 months. Can you believe it? Has anything changed? Just touching base with you. I wanted to let you know that we had some time to review your proposal and would like to discuss some options about getting the project done. Is the project still something you're looking to do, or are you out of the market currently?" Like, that's it. And it's like, wow, it's been 3 months. Can't believe it. You know what? Actually,
Yeah.
I'd like to remove the shed. I think we're ready to move forward now. It's crazy.
Yep. Yep.
Crazy. And then the last stage is proposal rejected. So we're actually just wrapping up a feature where the customer can go in and actually reject the proposal if you give them the option, and it'll move them to that stage and send out a follow-up based on what the reason was, right? So if they say that the price was too high, we can throw them in a sequence that tells them that we're willing to give them a discount. If you want, you don't have to, but it's all automated. It's really neat.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if it's rejected at that time, I mean, you might as well.
Might as well. You have nothing
Might
to
as
lose,
well.
right?
Yeah.
If they indicate I'm rejecting it because the price is too high, trigger
Yeah.
that sequence that goes out that says, "Hey, listen, I know that you said the price was too high. What if I took $200 off the proposal? I can get it, we can help you out there," or whatever it is,
I mean, because at the end of the day, to get another job's probably going to
going
cost
to
you.
cost more than the,
Yeah.
you got it. You got it. And then
Oh,
there's a whole other
that's
side,
pretty neat, man. I didn't know this. I mean, I
dude,
heard about
a
drip
whole other
jobs and
side. Yeah.
we talked a while back, but I didn't know it was like this intricate.
Oh, it's so intricate, and there's a whole nother side to this. So like when we sell the job, then it goes into proposal accepted, and like you've been in business, so think about this. Like if you sold the job to someone, let's say you sent a proposal on a Friday, and Saturday morning your customer submits the deposit, right? Like they picked you. It was a $4,000 job. Like you crushed it. Like they liked you, and they sent you the deposit and signed your proposal on Saturday morning. Okay.
Mhm.
Would you agree that like the customer has anxiety in a sense because they haven't heard from you until Tuesday,
That's
right?
probably true.
That's what's so with drip jobs, whenever there's a proposal that's accepted, we can fire off an automated message that says thank you. And then it can detail what the next steps are to lower the anxiety of our customer and let them know what's taking place. So when we sell a paint job, 30 minutes later, no matter what time of day it is or what day of the week it is, we let them know, hey, thank you so much for helping us further our mission and provide great quality service to you. We know you had other options. Here's the next steps. Step one, our color consultant's going to reach out to you. Step two, if it's an exterior project, you're going to get notified by our subcontractor. Step three, you're going to get a notification within 72 hours of the start date of your project, and you can let us know your feedback on the date we chose.
So they know everything they expect.
Brother, everything.
I find that that's what a big difference in a happy customer and an unhappy customer. It's like when I do meetings and everyone has their own idea on it, but I'll do like a 3 hour window. And the only reason I do it is because I'm doing a bunch of quotes and, you know, to get there exactly on the dot every time, 1 o'clock
Yep,
or something, it's like kind of unreasonable. So they don't get mad at me because I told them what to expect. And,
100%.
if you tell them 1 o'clock, but then you show up at 1:30, you might piss them off. But
100%.
them just knowing, I think that's huge that they're going to actually get an email that's telling them the process.
100%. And you could set those expectations at the estimate schedule stages. Hey, whatever. Hey, we booked your appointment for 1 o'clock. Please expect us within a 2 hour window of this time. We will text you when we're on our way. Okay, cool. Like
Yep.
this, and you know what's beautiful about our business is you can separate yourself simply by just doing exactly what you said you were going to do. Like
Right.
nothing more, nothing less. So, again, from the empathy
Show
point of
up.
view, just show up when you say you're going to show up, do what you say you're going to do. And what's also cool is that, like, I think that without something like this, we try to create such a great experience on the sales side, Tim. Like, we want to exceed, everyone focuses on the sales side. That's where you get all the communication. That's where you get all the energy. That's where, because you're chasing that bread. You want that ticket, dude. I get it. But
Yeah.
like, if you were to audit your business, if the energy for sales is here and then the energy after the sale is here, you've already created a gap. And what that really is a misrepresentation of what you sold. And with drip jobs, because it's automated and there's still that same level of energy and communication happening, that goes right here, bro. That's the secret. So
Because it's throughout the whole process.
exactly, it creates a full circle of synchronicity between the initial interaction to the final goodbye.
So
And
this
that's,
isn't just a CRM. This is like a whole communication system.
I hate the term CRM because it's limiting, it's commercialized, right? Back in the
Yeah.
day, you've been in business longer than me. Like CRM used to mean contact relationship management, where literally it would have the phone numbers and it was like a Rolodex,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Dude, this thing is, it's just evolved to be this business management system. I call it a BMS. It's like a business management system. But yes, like it's so versatile. It's crazy.
What are some cool features that they should know other than,
So for 2 years, we worked on job costing, which is to me the most important aspect of a contracting business. Like to know to the dollar how much money you're making. I think gutters have a huge opportunity for this. I think without a system, a lot of people are using spreadsheets, and that's cool. But like when you have it in a system that can present to you the important data and speed up the actual action of job costing, that's a difference maker. And the reason why is because most of you who are doing gutter jobs are buying materials in most cases in relativity to the project. Now, some buy in bulk, and I get that, and that's kind of tricky. But if you're doing it for the specific job, you want to know, like, hey, did I overestimate this? Did I underestimate this? How much money did I pay my team? Did I have to incur any additional expenses for this project? Like maybe, maybe I had to replace a sprinkler because we ran over it. Like, who knows?
yeah.
Like, we want to attribute all those little miniature costs to that project so we can see how profitable we are on a per job basis. So we just released that. And if we're working with employees, we can pull in QuickBooks time data into the system and then attribute that time to specific jobs.
So
So
it
that's
integrates with QuickBooks.
QuickBooks and QuickBooks time.
Okay.
Yeah. So job costing, I would say, is like the big feature that I feel like is underestimated in our
What is
industry.
QuickBooks time? I don't know. I don't know what
Yeah,
that.
QuickBooks time is the ability for your team members to clock in and clock out. Would you say like the
Oh,
majority of
okay.
other companies like are more employees or subcontractors? What do you like? What would you say?
I would say mostly employees.
Yeah, so it's like it's a clock in and clock out app for them. We plan to
Okay.
have something internal, but I like QuickBooks Time because it has geolocation tracking and it tracks them throughout the day. Um,
Oh,
so
so
I
you
like,
know where they're at. How does
yeah,
it do that?
they allow it in their on their phone. So they allow the permissions on their phone, and it just pings the cloud
And you
every
don't
time.
have to go out and buy a system for the trucks. You just got them.
No, I know
Okay.
exactly where they're. I mean, that's why I like it. So at any given time, I can pop in my back end and look and see where my guys are.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty
that's
neat. So,
good.
but it's
Yeah,
cool because if they go to a certain job, like let's say we have 4 jobs going on right now. So if they go to Mrs. Jones' house, I'm going to see that in drip jobs and I'm going to be able to attribute the cost of my employees who went to Mrs. Jones' house for 8 hours, which might be $500 to that job. So if the job was 5 grand, I'm subtracting that 500 and then any paint that we purchased for that job is also going to be subtracted from that.
okay. So it's kind of showing them what the real numbers are
100%
in live time.
in lifetime, which is more effective than when your accountant gives you a P&L, right? So most people hear about like, oh, what's my profits? Like, dude, by the time your accountant gets you the P&L,
It's
first of
already
all,
different.
no one knows how to really diagnose that thing. Like, and it could be fabricated and it doesn't have job data. So like the feedback loop is
Yeah.
really long, but I know if I underbid a job and only made 10% on it, the next time I come across a job like that, I'm going to be like, let me go back to that job and see how many hours it took us. And then I'm going to adjust my quote accordingly. So it allows me to create more efficiency in the estimating process. And as you're scaling, it gives you the ability to hold people accountable for their time frames. And you can really only do that with job costing data. How did we do on material? How do we do on labor? Especially when it comes to managers.
Right. So have you heard a lot that it's people's closing rates go up because of this?
I think that it creates more effective estimating, to be honest. Like my closing ratio is 30%.
Mhm.
But I can price things confidently. I think I don't focus too much on the closing ratio. I just focus on like our pricing and knowing exactly where we need to be. Because the problem is that in the same thing, like with you, if you have like a superior gutter company,
Yeah.
the customers like are usually dealing with like subpar companies that to compare. So it's like I think at the very least, instead of me worrying about people telling me my price is too high, like I just have the confidence to know that it's not. It's the right price, and someone else just priced it too low.
You're going by your profit first. Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. It's like I know how much I'm going to make on this. I know where we need to be, and if you don't want it, then okay.
That's something I'm always trying to explain to people. Like, you don't want to base it off of this guy because that's what he's doing. Because that guy's just basing it off of what the next guy's
Dude,
doing.
there's a
And they're
funny
all
story, dude.
basing it
Like,
off.
here's a funny story. I'm gonna try my best to paraphrase this, but like, there's a story about this young girl who was went up to her mother on thanks or I think it was like Thanksgiving, and they and or some holiday where they were roasting a like a lamb, and the girl goes up to the mother and says, "Mommy, why are we only cooking half of the ham or whatever it is?" And she goes, "Oh, well, that's how my mother did it." And then she asked her mother and said, "Well, why are you only why mom, why do we only cut half of the ham and cook it that way?" "Well, that's how my mother did it." And then she asked her mother and she said, "Oh, well, that's because the stove was really small back then." And it's like it's like, well, that's why we're doing it. No one knows
Yeah.
why we're doing it, right?
Yeah.
So, that's I don't know how relevant that was, but I always like that story of just
Yeah. That's pretty
following
relevant.
everyone else and not knowing where it came from.
Yeah. That's what I do. Just this is the market. Who
It
says
is.
who, you
Yeah.
know?
Somebody audit that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's how I traded the Christmas lights last year. I shot for even lower rate. I was shooting for a 20% rate, close rate, but I was high, and I had tons of leads to do it with. So it's not like
Yeah.
if I had no leads, maybe I would have had a different strategy, but I had tons of leads and I didn't want to, it made more sense to do less jobs for higher profit than
Just start low, like get that schedule up and then shoot, hit grand slams, dude. And then you
Mhm.
find that like if you do it that way, like I believe pricing should be fluid. If I have no work, I have 4 crews to keep busy.
Oh
I'm
yeah, yeah.
I'm
You
selling the
do.
jobs
Yeah.
at cost if I have to, right?
Yep.
Just to get momentum. And then that's when you swing.
No, I agree with that. I think we've all done that.
Yeah. Sure. thousand
I
bucks.
had 4 and 5 crews going. If I had to keep a crew busy, I needed to make sure my guys had to eat,
Like come paint my house today. It's like the third time this month. Again?
Yeah. How's the painting business?
Painting business is exciting. I would say that the market's hot still, man. We're getting a ton of leads. Facebook's popping for us. Popping, man. Completely switched 80% of my marketing expense to Facebook. And
Have
it's
you?
yeah, it's amazing. And I think
So
like
just paid ads?
yeah, paid ads. And I think the reason is because the algorithm that Facebook spends billions of dollars on is just getting so good, dude.
It
I
really is, man. I joined this personal branding group and I've been learning a lot about the algorithms and I
too.
think that they've like it's Facebook might play dumb, they're smart and like
Bro.
it knows everything.
It's a cheat code. It's still a cheat code. I feel like any home service business owner should be buying Facebook ads right now. It's only going to get harder to get it's the cost per lead naturally is going to go up in anything. Like when you
Are you doing anything organic
organic wise, like you got the
like Facebook?
yard signs, word of mouth is
Any like social organic or not really?
I do. I mean, no one sees it. You used to be able to see it. No one sees it. The real estate's too hot, man. No one sees that. You can put out it has to get an X amount of reactions, comments. Dude, Facebook's in business to
You
engage.
know, you know what people are sleeping on the reels because if you say like the city that you're in on your video,
Yeah.
like I'm doing this paint job, I'm over here, and you
Yep.
put that on, that'll give you an audience that's not on your following, and then
100%.
you could go to like your dashboard, and then you could go invite them, like invite anyone that's interacted.
Yeah, man.
It's
You
kind of
could
how you just start building it, but
any
it takes
word
kind
you
of work.
say, I mean, it's getting to the point where I even think it knows what I'm thinking. Like that's kind of weird, but
Yeah,
it's
you're in a conversation with someone now, you start seeing something.
it's
I think it
happening.
does have that feature. It's
Yeah,
got
it definitely does. It's probably
yeah.
gonna give me a gutter growth ad here in a minute.
That's a good ad to have, though.
It is a good ad to have.
Yeah. Yeah. You coming out to the summit, maybe?
I'm there, man. I want to be there. I asked I asked the team if I can contribute in some way. I think like gutters closely align with house painting. Like, I mean, we paint
It's the
them all
same.
day. Like I paint them every day, right? So, but like again, like I have a mission to really impact more than just the painting industry. And I think like if I'm picking one other vertical that like I know I can serve to the highest level, it's going to be gutters. Like, you know, I don't think
You
we're,
get quite a few gutter guys now.
yeah, I think we're about like 30 gutter companies using it.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah. So, and I think like the gutter industry is really evolving. Like I think like I was talking to
The
John.
gutter industry is a little bit behind on everything. They
I
got
think
some
it's not
catching up.
far away from where the painting business was if like 2 years ago. Because like the painting business didn't have marketing agencies. It barely had any coaches. And if they were just old school guys. We didn't have any events. We have one event. Still we have one event, but now we're starting to do little pop-up events. The gutter industry, like I think you guys are leading the way. Like I think like what you're creating here is going to inspire a lot of people to professionalize their
Right.
gutter installation business.
That's what we're trying to do, like legitimize it, bring everybody up, You got to have the community to do that. You got to have some
You need
events.
three elements. You need coaches, you need marketing agencies, and you need software. Like
Hmm.
that, those three things drive that. Like, and that's what happened in the painting space. It's like I feel like I'm helping lead the painting space in software with communications and stuff. But like, dude, the marketing agencies are being held to a higher standard. And then you got coaches and consultants like my friend's Painter Growth. Like, like
Yeah.
that's just how it
They
that's
have
how
quite a few coaches in that industry.
quite a few and they're popping up. They're really starting. The marketing agencies are popping up because like with the painting industry, there's three major sectors. You have the coatings like epoxy, and then you have cabinet refinishing, and then you have house painting. So like that's like three different like businesses that could each have their own coaching
Three
programs.
different markets, kind of.
Yeah. It's the market segmentation theory, and that's generally what happens as time goes on. Is that like people begin to specialize in like certain elements of the demand. Like for the gutter industry, I'm sure it's like split in between commercial and residential. Like I think
Yep.
that's an easier approach. Then you have some that do seamless and some that don't.
Yeah. Then you get into like the half round and
Yeah, then
that
you
type
get
of
some
thing.
guys that try to do like leaf filters. Like, I mean, like it's
Yeah.
kind of like convoluted a little bit. But that'll probably change. There's just going to be a need for like residential specialists in the gutter industry that only do residential houses and they bang them out.
Yep. That's pretty true.
That's what we're seeing on this side. Yeah.
How could the gutter guys reach out to you if they want to hop on drip jobs?
Man, the easiest thing, and I wanted to present this to anyone listening to this. I think you're building such a cool community. I want to give any gutter individual who owns a gutter business 100 days free of drip
That's pretty
jobs.
huge.
Yeah, dude, 100 days, 3.5 months. I know the values there. My mission is to serve. I know that you need this. I know that you're probably overwhelmed with the communication aspect, whether you're not doing it and want to do it, or you're doing it and you're not really doing it to the standard that matches the quality of your work. So I'd love to let you use drip jobs for 100 days. Just use coupon code gutter growth 100. Already set that up for you. So you're
Oh,
ready.
beautiful. You're
Yeah, it's
thinking
done.
ahead.
Oh yeah. This is an offer I'd already thought about. I want to definitely help your community. So just go to dripjobs.com. You can book a demo first, and we'll still honor the coupon, which I suggest. Like go through the demo with our team. Let us teach you kind of the principles behind drip jobs, and then we also offer a free 1 hour training. So you get the demo. We'll kind of give a high level overview, and then the onboarding will be free, and that's in your account, teaching you how to use it, showing you all the different things. So you get 100 days free, gutter growth 100 at dripjobs.com.
Guys, if you're still using paper, like take him up on this offer because when I sold my business, the guy was using paper and he started not using paper and he told me that his sales started going up like 10 or 15%. So just being more professional and having it in a software where they're getting a professional estimate or a professional invoice, you're going to close more. Like, how are you really running your business when you hand them a piece of paper? That's how the kind of the customer's perceiving you. So especially if you don't have anything, I would definitely jump on this offer.
Yeah, please. We'd love to have you. And then tell Tim that it's a good fit.
What did
And
you say that code was again?
it's going to be gutter growth 100, all one word, gutter growth 100, 100 days. You know, we only give that out to like high end. Like we know that like anyone that's working with you is somebody that's going to be a great fit. They're
Yeah.
already thinking ahead. They're already wanting to be a part of a coaching program. They're already investing in their education, like listening to podcasts instead of listening to music. Like, you know, we already know what you're about. So I'd love to reinvest in you and just give us some good feedback on it and then help us grow in the gutter community. That's my mission right now.
Don't you have the add-on features where you like you could add features or not features, but you could add like line items that doesn't reflect?
Yeah, so we have a really
Let's talk a
neat
little bit
feature.
about
It's
that.
it's the optional item feature. So think about your upsells. Like right now, if a customer came to you, I'm gonna do my best. I'm not a gutter expert, but if I sound like an idiot, you know, just
Well,
laugh. But
just put it this way, like say if they want to add leaf guard.
okay, there you go. That's a good one, right? So you come to someone's house, you do your linear foot measurement, you're identifying what your costs are, and then they say, you know what, actually, I might want the leaf filter. Can you give me a price on it? And right now, like if you're doing it on paper, you're probably like writing it and like circling it. But like if you're emailing your quotes, like you probably have to send two, or you have to put it in the notes at the bottom. So we have a cool feature in DripJobs where you send the standard price for, you know, what it is that you're offering, which is the gutter installation and supply. And then you can create an optional item that they can actually click and add it to the proposal, kind of like you add something to your Amazon cart and then it
Yeah.
automatically updates the proposal. If you have a deposit required, they would then sign the proposal and then pay you the deposit, saving you a trip to the house, you know.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, like you get a notification that you sold a job. And I mean, dude, it's seamless. And then you can send a work order to your team automatically as well. So they know they're going to see pictures of the house. They're going to see the scope of work. It's going to say added leaf filter. And then like everyone's on the same page, like, you know, so that's the project management side.
I think if you don't have like a CRM that does that, or if you're on paper, like that's a no-brainer. It'll pay for itself just with that feature. I love
Absolutely.
Amazon. I love that Amazon gives me those recommendations because I'll buy
Yeah,
something and I won't know what needs to go with it. You know, like I bought a whiskey smoker the other day and, you know, it had to suggest that there was butane, you know. I
yeah,
ignored the suggestions, didn't buy it, got it in. I'm like, oh, I can't smoke any whiskey today. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
so so they don't always know what they need. So
Exactly.
they might have a house with tons of trees around. You know that it's going to clog up. They don't know they need it.
Throw it
You
on
give
there.
that recommendation, and you're going to have upsales.
Throw it on there. You don't need to ask. Like we do that with pressure washing. Like we'll go and you know we'll quote the whole painting and we'll notice that the driveway, the walkway need to be washed, and we just throw it on there. It's like if
Yeah,
you grab it, you grab it. If you don't, you don't. It's
yeah,
optional. You know,
yeah.
so much there, man. I would love to serve your community, and like I said, 100 days. You don't have to pay a dollar if you don't like it after 100 days. We'll do the setup for free. We'll do the onboarding for free. So we just want to load up a lot of value up front so you stick around.
Cool, man. Well, I appreciate you get coming on here and having a talk with us today. I think it was awesome, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you for the opportunity.
Definitely. Good deal. I think there's definitely some value for everyone. So hop on that offer.
All right, man.